Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 7, Text 7. Evam karma vishuddhya vishuddha sattvasyantar hridayakasha sharire brahmani bhagavati vasudeve mahapurusha rupopalakshane Shrivatsa Kaustubha Vanamaladhara Gadadibhir Upalakshite Nija Purusha Hril Likhite Natmani Purusha Rupena Virochamana Uchchaistaram Bhaktir Anudinam Edhamana Raya Jayata Evam thus Karma Vishuddhya by offering everything for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not desiring any results of his pious activities. Vishuddha Sattvasya of Bharat Maharaj, whose existence was completely purified. Antah Hridaya Akasha Sharire, the super soul within the heart, as meditated on by yogis. Brahmani, into impersonal Brahman, which is worshipped by the impersonalist Jnanis. Bhagavati, under the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, Lord Krishna. Mahapurusha, of the Supreme Person. Rupa, of the form. Upalakshane, having the symptoms. Shrivatsa, the mark on the chest of the Lord. Kaustubha, the Kaustubha gem used by the Lord. Vanamala, flower garland. Haridhara, by the disc and conch shell. Gada adibhi, by the club and other symptoms, other symbols. Upalakshite, being recognized. Nija Purusha Hrit Likhitena, which is situated in the heart of his own devotee, like an engraved picture. Atmani, in his own mind. Purusha Rupena, by his personal form. Virochamane, shining. Uchchaistaram, on a very high level. Bhakti, devotional service. Anudinam, day after day. Edhamana, increasing. Raya, possessing force. Appeared. Ajayata, appeared. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: in this way, being purified by ritualistic sacrifices, the heart of Maharaj Bharat was completely uncontaminated. His devotional service unto Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, increased day after day. Lord Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is the original personality of Godhead, manifest as the super soul, Paramatma, as well as the impersonal Brahman. Yogis meditate upon the localized Paramatma situated in the heart. Jnanis worship the impersonal Brahman as the supreme absolute truth, and devotees worship Vasudeva, the supreme personality of Godhead, whose transcendental body is described in the Shastras. His body is decorated with the Shrivatsa, the Kaustubha jewel, and a flower garland, and his hands hold a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. Devotees like Narada always think of him within their hearts. Please repeat in this way. Being purified by ritualistic sacrifices, the heart of Maharaj Bharat was completely uncontaminated. His devotional service unto Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is the original personality of Godhead, manifest as the supersoul Paramatma, as well as the impersonal Brahman. Yogis meditate upon the localized Paramatma situated in the heart. Jnanis worship the impersonal Brahman as the supreme absolute truth. And devotees worship Vasudeva, the supreme personality of Godhead, whose transcendental body is described in the Shastras. His body is decorated with the Srivatsa, the Kaustubha jewel and a flower garland, and his hands hold a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. Devotees like Narada always think of him within their hearts. Purport: Lord Vasudeva or Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is manifest within the hearts of yogis in his Paramatma feature. And he is worshipped as impersonal Brahman by Jnanis. The Paramatma feature is described in the Shastras as having 4 hands, holding disc, conch shell, lotus flower, and club, as confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.2.8. केचित् स्वदेहान्तर्हृदयावकाशे प्रादेशमात्रं पुरुषं वसन्तं चतुर्भुजं कञ्जरथाङ्गशङ्ख गदाधरं धारणया स्मरन्ति. Paramatma is situated in the hearts of all living beings. He has 4 hands which hold 4 symbolic weapons. All devotees who think of the Paramatma within the heart worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the temple deity. They also understand the impersonal features of the Lord and his bodily rays, the Brahman effulgence. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Pradamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we have studied in the last two verses how Bharat Maharaj was performing so many yajnas, seemingly karma kanda yajnas, but for the pleasure of the Lord. So he is not interested in the pious results of such sacrifices. We have also shown the way in which devotees may sometimes engage in so-called materialistic activities only to glorify the Lord. Last week we have seen that Yudhishthir Maharaj engaged in Rajasuya sacrifice similarly. And similarly, um, pure devotees, they may comment on seemingly materialistic subjects, but the devotees do not mistake or are not disturbed in their meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they understand Janmadhyasya Yatah. Krishna is the origin of everything. So, for in the vision of a pure devotee, there is nothing material. What is that in the 10th? Aham sarvasya prabhava. That means everything, mattah sarvam pravartate. Everything is coming from Krishna, even the material nature. So, even if devotees comment on the material nature, it is always with relation with the Lord. Because Maya, the definition of Maya, given by the Lord to Lord Brahma, on this. कृतेर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Um, so, if something has value, how can it be, or something which seemingly doesn't have any value, at least to us? How can anything be without relation to the Lord? It cannot be, because aham sarvasya prabhava janmadhyasya yataha. Everything has emanated from the Lord. He is the source. Anadir adhir govindaham. So everything is related to the Lord. What is the meaning of this statement when Lord Vishnu said to Lord Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. What is the meaning of this word? That means this lack of relation to Krishna is only in our head, in our heart, because of our forgetfulness. So anything that is impelled by the forgetfulness of Krishna is Maya. When scientists describe that life comes from matter, that is material. So when scientists speak about the origin of life or anything scientific, that is material. But when the same topic is touched upon by the pure devotee, it is spiritual. He is also speaking on the same subject of life and consciousness. But he is speaking from the right source, and he is giving the right perspective of the knowledge. So that is spiritual. A war is material, but a war in which Krishna is the center is spiritual, like Kurukshetra war. Ramayana is also war, Mahabharata is also war. But these are the two great epics. And what is the definition of itihasa? What is that? पूर्ववृत्त कथायुक्तम धर्म धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षाणाम पूर्ववृत्त कथायुक्तम धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षाणाम उपदेश समन्वितम. I'm mixing up the lines. So this verse is there from the Sanatana Goswami in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Let's see if we can find it. धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षाणाम उपदेश समन्वितम पूर्ववृत्त कथायुक्तम इतिहासम प्रचक्षते. What is the meaning of itihas? A text that consists of narrations of past events and includes instructions about religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation is called an itihas. So, in these itihasas, there are lessons about dharmartha kama mokshanam, and of course, even bhakti also is touched upon, but not elaborately on like Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Bhagavatam is called Amalam Puranam, Puranam Amalam. It's a spotless Puran because only bhakti is the only topic of the. There is no dharmartha kama mokshanam. It is higher, therefore, than even the itihasas. So, if it is an itihas and it is full of religious instruction, why it is full of war? Because that is also dharma yuddha. Dharma yuddha. So anything that is related with Krishna, Ram, or any, like Hiranyakashipu, this Narasimhadev Bhagwan, he came and fought. Varaha came and fought. Ram came and fought. Parshuram killed so many. Krishna killed. Balaram killed. Stop talking. I don't want any talking. Hello. Haribol. Stop talking. If you want to talk, you can go upstairs and talk. Don't sit in the class. So, these things are mentioned in the itihasas. It is when it is related with the Lord, it is spiritual. So that is the, and this is the reason why when a devotee comments on seemingly material topics, it is not material. It is not that he is falling down from his meditation on the Lord. In fact, he understands that everything is the energy of the Lord, and he tries to impress upon the people the presence of the Lord. Because they are interested in material topics, so he connects those material topics to Krishna and shows them how this is all connected with Krishna, and therefore they should worship Krishna. Because he is the source of everything, even of themselves. So in today's verse, evam karma vishuddhyam. So he got purified by, and vishuddha sattvasya. His existence was purified by sacrifice. And that is explained in Bhagavad Gita. To purify our existence, we have to perform sacrifices. And the biggest sacrifice, best sacrifice, is yajñarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanghas samachara. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and that way you will always remain free from bondage. And this is what Bharat Maharaj did. This is sacrifice. And if we don't engage in sacrifice, aghayur becomes, sinful. Our lifetime is spent sinfully. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayah aghayurindriyaramo mogham partha sujivati. So here you see the word chakram. It's a side note, but they say who is the inventor of wheel? Some Westerner inventor of wheel. Everything they only invented. They are the most intelligent people. Here chakram is used. Chariots were there before. And the Lord has a chakra in his hand. I mean, come on. This Westerner guy invented a chakra. So anyway, evam pravartitam chakram, there's a kala chakra. Time is also like chakra. This is a very old thing. Wheel. Nanu vartayati hayah aghayur indriyarama. So if we spend our life in indriyarama, then it will become aghayur. Agha means sinful, ayuh means lifetime. Indriya arama, the satisfaction of senses. If we live for that, mogham partha sajivati, mogham partha. Useless. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice, thus established by the Vedas, certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. And therefore, although history contains all kinds of people, all kinds of mentalities, the Itihas and the Puranas are compilations of histories where an example can be um, taken, using which we can chalk out our plan of life. So, to inspire us, these are the, just like you see, so many people are doing business, right? But who are listed in the Forbes magazine? Top 10, top 50, top 100, top 500 maybe. No, they're not featured, they're listed maybe some first 10, 15, 20 maybe will featured in the Forbes magazine. Why? To inspire others also to take up entrepreneurship and make money, so that there will be more economical, economic growth. So similarly, there is so much history going on. Failed businesses also there, but they don't feature in Forbes unless it is the biggest scam. Then they will show, oh, what is that? Sam Bankman-Fried came up with this FTX, $8 billion scam, or Theranos, such big, huge scams, or a big fall down, like, what is that? Goldman Sachs, is that one? 2008, and there was something else. So either it's the biggest loss or the biggest gain are featured. Similarly, in the Bhagavatam, because for them economics is the most important thing, and that's based on that yardstick they feature these things. So our thing is spiritual advancement is the yardstick. So we have also stories of the greatest devotees and the greatest demons and the greatest fall down of Bharat. From the topmost, almost topmost status of devotional service, he fell down from Bhava stage. So these exceptional examples are given for us so that we can be inspired by the devotees, and we can be warned, forewarned with the consequences of what happens, because history repeats itself, they say, right? What does that mean? The history may not exactly repeat itself, like not that Hitler comes every now and then. No, he died and he went somewhere. He's not again he will come. No. But there are lessons that are repetitive. Of course, when the Lord comes, he comes with his entourage repeatedly. But the lessons repeat themselves. The same thing. People commit the same mistake. There is, for example, financial world or political. So many scams happen. Still, one more new scam will come. So, in this way, there will be so-called successful people materially. Such success is also repeats, and many failed will be there. Failed businesses or failed. Such endeavors will also repeat. So we should, because the point is, we do not know our future. And karma is even, Maya is even more, pernicious. We can't see, it is so subtle that we cannot see the effect of Maya. And we don't think too far of the consequences of our actions. Because every single act, every single word, and every single thought we have in this life as a human being is very, very weighted. We don't think so much. But if you see, like the comet, Dhumaketu, it has a long tail, very long tail. So, like that, our activities now carry a long tail of karma. The cockroach that we see, the rat, the cat, the dog, the plants, why they are there? Because of a mistake they did in a human life, particularly human life. Because in lower forms you can't make mistakes. You're living on an instinct. You're living on instinct. So you kill on instinct, like a lion. He's not punished for killing because that's his instinct, and he is created to do that. So he does not suffer karma. So when they suffer, animals also suffer. The lion is suffering, the deer is suffering, everybody is suffering. Why are they suffering? If they don't have karma, if they don't create karma while in their lives, why are they suffering? Because of what they did in the human form of life. When they did have the facility of making sound judgment, when they misuse that, because the the amount of sins we commit in this one lifetime, it's not enough. One another lifetime is not enough to make up for all that bija, for all of it to fructify. One lifetime is not enough. uh, many millions of lifetimes. So we have to be very careful, but we are not so careful to see what is the consequence of my actions and how far is the consequence, and how much I have to suffer for a simple silly mistake in this life. So that's why the histories are mentioned, like Bharat Maharaj, for example. His history is one of an extraordinary fall down. Not just an ordinary fall down, because he was not just a bhakta joined like yesterday and then chanted a few rounds and fell away. He went to the stage. We are struggling to cross anartha nivritti. Whole life anartha nivritti stuck there. He has crossed anartha nivritti. This chronological advancement of devotional life. Is it number 23 and 15? Okay. किम आदौ श्रद्धा ततः साधुसंगोथ भजन क्रिया तो ततो अनर्थ निवृत्ति स्यात् ततो निष्ठा रुचिस्ततः अथासक्तिस्ततो भावस् ततः प्रेमाभ्युदंशति साधकानामयं प्रेम्णः प्रादुर्भावे भवेत् क्रमः. This is the chronological advancement of a progressing devotee. What is that? Adau Shraddha. In the beginning there is firm faith. And the firm faith includes disinterest in material affairs and interest in spiritual advancement. So that's how it starts. That may be triggered by some event, in life, or by the association of devotees. It's actually by the association of devotees, but it becomes strengthened by, Maya's slaps and canes, hurricane. So, Tata Sadhu Sangha, then he associates with devotees. Then Bhajana Kriya, performance of devotional service to Krishna. Then he takes initiation. This is also part of Bhajana Kriya, because that is formal entry into the realm of devotional service. Then Tataha, Anartha Nivritti, the diminishing of all unwanted habits. This is where we are stuck. Shikshashtakam, the second shloka is one of remorse of Anartha Nivritti. Anartha Nivritti is not happening. So that is remorse. Durdaivam ihajani nanuraga. I don't have attraction for the holy name. And why? Because Anartha Nivritti hasn't happened. Because of anarthas. Anartha, artha means goal. Anartha means distractions from the goal, unwanted things. So these things are not going away. So we are stuck here. And people fall down, and so it's common. He was not like that. This Bharat Maharaj, he crossed Anartha Nivritti, became Nishtha, fixed. Not only fixed, went even higher. Ruchi, he got full taste. And tataha asakti, attachment, he was spontaneously attached to the Lord. I mean, you don't expect this kind of devotee to fall down. You know? Tata bhava, emotion or affection, and this was the stage he was on. Another example is Bilumangal Thakur. He was also on the stage of bhava in the last life before he fell down. These are extraordinary fall downs. And tata prema abhyudanchati sadhakana mayam premna. So, why such devotees can fall down? You don't expect a strong devotee to fall down. But we are Achyuta. We are not Achyuta. The moment we don't take shelter of Achyuta, we become Chuta. The moment we take shelter of Achyuta, we become Achyuta. So we are marginal, therefore. That is Tha Shakti. So, that is explained in case of Bharat Maharaj. Of course, we will read all this in the next chapter. 588, Prabhu always used to show this. You see how तस्य हवा एण कुनक उच्चैर एतस्मिन् कृत निजाभिमानस्य आहरः तत्पोषण पालन लालन प्रीणन अनुध्यानेन आत्मनियमाः सह यमाः पुरुष परिचर्यादय एकैकशः कतिपयेनाहर्गणेन वियुज्यमानाः किल सर्व एवोदवसन्. See what he did. Tat poshana palana lalana preenana anudhyanena. This is what he did. So let's see what he did. You know that story, right? The deer came and he became very attached to the deer. In this today's chapter, I think you will see, he gave up his family like it was stool in the toilet. The exact words were used. Like stool in the toilet, he left his beautiful wife, obedient children, undisputed kingdom, and yet he fell for a deer. I mean, this Vishwamitra fell for Menaka, a deer. I mean, at least Menaka you can understand, okay, at least same species, some woman, opposite sex. Not even opposite sex, what is this? Some animal. Okay, so gradually Maharaj Bharat became very affectionate toward the deer. He began to raise it and maintain it by giving it grass. He was always careful to protect it from the attacks of tigers and other animals. When it itched, he petted it, and in this way he always tried to keep it in a comfortable condition. He sometimes kissed it out of love. Being attached to raising the deer, Maharaj Bharat forgot the rules and regulations for the advancement of spiritual life. And he gradually forgot to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After a few days, he forgot everything about his spiritual advancement. So, you see the wedge, when there is a small gap and you put a wedge, and then you become greater and then put a bigger wedge and finished. The whole thing is lopped off. So, it is to show the pernicious effect of our attachment. How small thing, however small thing. There is this verse by Shankaracharya in that, what is that? The 33 verses, what is that thing called? What is a hammer? Mudgara. Moha Mudgara. What is it? What did he say? You quoted the other day. Tarutala Vasa. Very nice. Verse 16. Is this the one? Let's see. Agre Vahni. Let's go to the KK songs. Because Agre Vahni Prishte Bhanu. Let's see what happens. How dangerous this is. Bhajagovindam. This is actually worth learning. This whole thing is worth by learning it by heart. I haven't learned it yet, but I have to learn it. Okay, you see 16. Angam galitam palitam mundam dashana vihinam. No, not this one, no. 17. Agre vahne prishthe bhanu ratrau tubuka samarpita janu karatala bhikshastarutala vasah tadapi namunchatyasha pasha. Very rhyming, very instructive, very nice. This whole thing is, beautiful. So let's see. Behold, there lies the man who sits warming up his body with the fire in the front and sun at the back. You know what is this meaning? The yogis, they do like this, tapasya, you know, the sun in the front and fire at the back, and this is how they learn tolerance. And in the winter, they go to the Himalayas with ice cold. They sit on it almost naked, just open. They wear like that, and then they dip themselves in the water like this and meditate, ice cold. So this kind of that means tapasvi. That is what is. So there lies a man who sits warming up his body with the fire in the front and sun at the back. At night he curls up the body to keep out of the cold. That means he is not having any shelter. That much tapasya is doing. He eats his beggar's food from the bowl of his hand and sleeps beneath the tree. Still in his heart he is a wretched puppet at the hands of passion or lust. So this is the danger. I mean, even a son like the 6 Goswamis, just now we read, they used to live under another tree. Every other day they used to change the tree under which they used to live, because so that they won't get attached to the tree under which they are living. So that much Maya is, she doesn't have to be like, she knows how to attack. She knows, oh, he is very strong. He will not easily be tempted by passions. Let me give him the most unsuspecting thing. Let me give the most unsuspecting thing. He will never think that this is actually Maya. And that's how she enters. That's why if the ship has a small crack, enough to sink the entire Titanic. Small crack is enough. So, I think the online, they could not see that. Right? They could not see the verse because I shared only the. Anyway, it's the 17th verse in the KK song. I think it's only 16th. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe the Bhaj Govindam, it is repeated, kind of, maybe first and last. So maybe it's the first or last. So this is the thing. I mean, that's exactly what happened to Bharat Maharaj. He left wife, children, everything, went to the forest. It's not easy to go to the forest. Wild animals, diseases. I mean, you touch a leaf, maybe you'll die. Who knows what is there in the forest? It requires extraordinary courage. And to be focused in our meditation on the Lord, some sound comes, say, what is that? We're scared. And he's alone. He cannot have anybody else sitting with him. And yoga is all alone. So, and at that time, you have to be so focused. And he was that focused. He was not even afraid of the tigers and all. He was thinking of how to save the deer from the tigers. He was not afraid of the tigers. So fearless. He has every good quality. But you see how Maya. So anyway, that is the thing we have to learn. But you see, today, let's come to study the words in the verse itself. You see, Shuddha Sattva. This was his position. Antaha Hridayakasha Sharire. The body who is situated in the sky of the heart. That is the Paramatma, Brahmani, Bhagavati Vasudeve, Mahapurusha Rupopalakshane, Srivatsa Kaustubha Vanamalari Dara, Gadadhvi Rupalakshite, Nijapurusha Hrid, Likithen Atmani, Purusha Rupena Virochma, so many nights. उच्चैस्तरां भक्तिर अनुदिनम edhamana rayajayata. How to finish? Quickly finish. So here you see the translation how Prabhupada wrote. Um, it's in the purport, I think. Yeah. See, all devotees who think of the Paramatma within the heart worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the temple deity. The yogi is meditating on the Paramatma within the heart, and devotees worshipping the deity. It is non-different because the deity can appear in 8 forms, and Manomai is one form, and what is that? Um, what is the word for stone? Ashma, but not. It's not Ashma, right? Shauli, Shaili. Shila. Shila means stone. Shaili means stone. Darumai, Lauhi, Lepya, Lekhya, cha Saikati, Manomai, Manimai, Pratima Ashtavidha, Smrita, Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 27, 12. The deity form of the Lord is said to appear in 8 varieties: stone, wood, metal, earth, paint, sand, the mind, or jewels. So the yogi is there to Manasika Puja. Not exactly puja because devotees is different. Paramatma yogi meditation is a bit different. They know the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a form, and yet they do not exactly serve Him. But meditation on Him is also service. So it's a beginning of appreciation of the Lord, and eventually they will come to Shantaras, Dasaras, and everything. So the devotees, they worship the Supreme Personality as the deity. But it is not that they do not accept the impersonal feature. It is not that we are personalists versus impersonalists. Personalist has the impersonal conception included, whereas impersonalist conception is to the exclusion of the personalist conception. So theirs is incomplete, whereas ours is complete. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. So this verse is there, everybody knows, but if they think that the Brahman is complete, then Purnameva Avashishyate, if the complete has come out, it is still complete. So that is complete understanding, not that now he has, what is that? Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Where is the other verse? Narad Muni 1.5.20. Is it? Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetara. This is the one. Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord Personality of Godhead is Himself this cosmos. And still He is aloof from it. This is the proper understanding. Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetaro Yato Jagatsthana Nirodha Sambhavaha Tadhi Swayam Veda Bhavams Tathapite Pradesha Matram Bhavatah Pradarshitam. Here also Pradesha Matram is given. And today's verse also, the purport 228, Pradesha Matram. But of course, he has a different meaning. Supreme Lord, Personality of God, is Himself the cosmos, and still He is aloof from it. From Him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated. In Him it rests, and unto Him it enters after annihilation. Your good self knows all about this. I have given only a synopsis. So, here, today's verse mentioned Pradesha Matram. Purusham Vasantam. He is situated in the heart, as in the Pradesha means, here it is mentioned, measuring only 8 inches. From the ring finger to the tip of the thumb. This is Pradesha. About 8 inches. Now, and he is having these helmets, disc, lotus flower, and everything. Invisible though for the cardiac surgeon. The all-pervading personality of God who resides as Paramatma in the heart of each and every living entity. The measurement of the localized personality of God, it is estimated to expand from the end of the ring finger to the end of the thumb, or the means the end to end. Okay, this much. That's kind of more than 8 inches actually. Maybe depends. So, more or less 8 inches. The form of the Lord, it's that big, Paramatma. It's not just like, something. That big, it's still invisible. Open heart surgery cannot be found. The form of the Lord described in this verse with distribution of different symbols, beginning from the lower right hand up and down to the lower left hand with lotus wheel of a chariot, conch shell and club, respectively, is called Janardhan, or the plenary portion of the Lord who controls the general mass of people. There are many such forms of the Lord with varied situations of the symbols of lotus, conch shell, etc., and they are differently known as Purushottama, Achyuta, Narsimha, Trivikrama, Rishikesha, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Sridhara, Vasudeva, Damodar, Janardana, Narayana, Hari, Padmanabha, Vamana, Madhusudana, Govinda, Krishna, Vishnumurti, Adhokshaja, and Upendra. These 24 forms of the localized personality of Godhead are worshipped in different parts of this planetary system. And each form is an incarnation of the Lord having a different Vaikuntha planet in the spiritual sky, which is called the Paravyoma. There are millions of other forms of the Lord, and each and every one of them has a particular planet in the spiritual sky, of which the material sky is only a fragmental offshoot. The Lord exists as Purusha, or the male enjoyer, although there is no comparing him to any male form in the material world. But all such forms are Advaita, non-different from one another, and each of them is eternally young. The young Lord with 4 hands is nicely decorated as described below. So, the Lord is there and yet not visible. Even the measurement is there and yet not visible. How can, what is going on then? So this is part of the reason why recently, as we have seen the cosmology, the measurements of the Bhumandala, the Meru mountain, the Mandara mountain, Gandhamadhan mountain, all of them are mentioned, but yet we can't see them. So that means they are in a subtle realm. So just because something has a measurement doesn't mean that we can see. So we have to understand. We can't be taking or analyzing this world linearly. Linear means just one line of reasoning. So the Lord is so expert that he can put us in illusion in so many ways that we cannot even know that illusion can be in that way. We think illusion is in this way, that way. The illusions that we can conceive of. The meaning of Achintya is that he can put us in illusion which we cannot conceive. So anyway, so this is the Lord, but he can be seen. He can be seen if we are qualified. If we are qualified, and what is the qualification? That is also explained. Uchchaistaram bhakti. If you go back to today's verse, not ordinary grade of devotional service, very high grade. Nija Purusha Hrit Likhitena. Likhitena means engraved. This engraving again, you can't find any engraving on the heart. But this is the subtle heart, and not just material subtle, spiritual, because higher than intelligence is the soul. Now, Brahma, for example, he has a body composed purely of intelligence, but he is also said to have 4 heads, helmets, cloth, everything. How can what we helmet means it should be something metal, right? Yeah, it is metal, but still it's intelligence, only intelligence, but it's golden and everything. You can say. So there is, I just show you that part. the one. See, Parasparaну Praveshat Tattvanam Purusharshabha Paurva Pariya Prasankhyanam Yatha Vaktur Vivakshitam. O best among men, because subtle and gross elements mutually enter into one another. You see this? Mutually enter into one another, gross and subtle. It's not that, Krishna simplified everything in Bhagavad Gita. He has this 8 elements, 5 gross, 3 subtle. What is happening? What is this helmet of Brahma? When Brahma bowed down and all the other Brahmas bowed down to Krishna and all the helmets, tumultuous sound was made. The sound is also coming. And yet he is composed only of intelligence. So it is far more complicated than we think it is. It's not so linear and so not so straightforward. So you see, because subtle and gross elements mutually enter into one another, philosophers may calculate the number of basic material elements in different ways according to their personal desire. So there's a lot more complication than we think it is, even in the material world. So, how can we understand the spiritual world, the spiritual truth, if we just rely on our senses? And actually, thank God this Chandrayaan thing happened. So, it prodded me to go deeper into this Vedic cosmology thing. And it was not just cosmology. It is so much about our sense perception and how defective, of course, all these years we knew that, our senses are completely incapable of grasping anything. But it became even more stark and more matter of fact, so hopeless that our senses, relying on our senses is, how hopeless it is. It became even more evident. That's why I want to do this series on this. Maybe it'll take maybe 3 or 4 videos, maybe as a live stream, because if I start to edit, it will never come out. So this needs to be covered because it's a huge topic. It's a massive topic. And it just shows how powerful the Lord actually is. The extent of his illusory energy is incalculable. There is one statement where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the 3/4 energy of the Lord, which is the spiritual world, is beyond our conception. So I will speak only about the 1/4 to give a little bit hint that is there. Krishna also says it in his own way. He says that among the fish and the shark, among the animals and the land, among the this and the that, to show how great he is. Finally, he said, Arjuna, I can go on and on and on. This Bhagavad Gita will never finish. Now, Athava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekamshena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. I was just thinking about this word universe. I have to check though in Sanskrit whether this word is there. In Telugu it is there. I think maybe in Tamil also. What is, Varsa means series. Is there in Tamil? Varse? Varsha means rain. Huh? Huh? Means? I'm not. Varse. Yes. So, Varsa means like a series, like a sequence. So, universe, I'm just purely speculating here, but the etymology of this word, universe. Now, Krishna says, pearls are strung on a thread, sutre maniganaiva. Everything is arranged nicely. On the string, the pearls are strung on a string, and the string is me, Krishna says. So everything is nicely done in sequence. So probably, I don't know, universe, multiverse, we can speculate like that. I mean, I don't think it's a that big of a leap of a speculation, because ultimately all languages come from Krishna anyway. But you see, that's how Krishna is maintaining everything. Hmm? So, what is that? Uchchaistaram bhaktir. Uchchaistaram bhaktir. So, to become very fixed up in devotional service, it is important that we channel our consciousness from material to spiritual. Everything should be spiritualized. So, using everything in the service of the Lord and understanding everything in the service of the Lord. So, for example, that's again coming back to the point of Vedic cosmology. We look at the space, it looks like a meaningless spread of stars and sky and beautiful, but yeah, what am I going to do? If I know that by looking at telescope, whatever it is, my life is not going to change. I'm going to be the same person. I have to work hard next morning and I have to maintain myself. And it's just nice to see what is the meaning, what is the reason, nothing known. And there's no order, there's nothing. It's a meaningless atheistic view that we have of the sky if we just see without the knowledge of Shastra. But the demigods and beings who are perfected, like Sukadeva Goswami, who also has been to the heavenly planets, they explain in a very, very different way. That means the same thing is visible in different ways to different people. They see it as these layers based on spiritual advancement. And what is the use of studying all these luminaries and everything? Firstly, those planets have an influence on the life on this planet. Like we have astrology, planets have an influence. Material scientists have not even entered that understanding. They think gravity, but actually they influence our lives. Every single life on this planet is influenced by those. Otherwise, why this? Even English has this phrase, "Thank your stars." Why? Where did that come from? So, so these things are there, lost in culture now, in most of the world, even in India, even in Bharata. So many quack astrologers have come. But the thing is there, the influence. That is one thing. So to know their planetary systems has a direct application to present day life. Next, there are planets there, and the other thing modern scientists and our vision does not afford us is that we can't see any life, any symptoms of life even. Anybody coming from another planet to coming here, maybe sometimes UFO, but it's all very vague, we can't understand. There's no, even if there is some UFO, we can't interact. So it's all we're isolated seemingly in this world, and all planets, whatever they see is a nebulous, gases, and if you go there, we'll die within a second, that kind of atmosphere. So we can't think of any useful, practical use for that, right? But our understanding of the universe is that every single planet is full of life, and by observing them, and a yogi can actually transfer himself to another planet that he wants to go to, or if he is even more advanced, then he will understand that all planets are not worth going to, and he will want to go back to Krishna. Another application. The next application is that to understand how glorious is the Lord's creation. Because, for example, the way Bhagavatam describes the universe is of a very specific, divisions. Like those who are more advanced, like that planetary systems. You don't find like that from here, that view. You don't see that view from here. So that means spiritual advancement is so much, important. One is clearly shown to be higher when one is spiritually advanced. Whereas here we think money, those who have money is the higher person, first class person. So there is, and the universal form of the Lord is the first step in Krishna consciousness. Why Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam is said Puranam Amalam, right? Spotless Purana, only bhakti, no dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Why is there cosmic description in the full material world? Again, another example of seemingly engaging in material subjects. Oh, Bharat, Maharaj, he did this, he did that. Are we gossiping about somebody who, something that happened in the past, somebody who lived their life and died, and we are gossiping about that person? No. So, are we gossiping about stars, simply armchair speculation? Look at that. No, that's good. Let's look at some telescope. We're not wasting time here. We are studying these things with a specific purpose, with Krishna in the center. So, these are devotional service. Sarga, Atha Sarga Visarga. What is that? Pranam Poshana Mutaya. Manvantare Anukatha Nirodho Bhakti Rashraya. Is this the one? One. These are the 10 subjects of Bhagavatam, the Amalam Puranam, the completely spiritual Puran. This is the subjects. In fact, these are the subjects of every Mahapuran, not only Bhagavatam. But Bhagavatam is purely, completely, there's no tinge of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. If they are mentioned actually. They are mentioned, but in a pessimistic way, not encouraging them. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshana mutayah manvantareshanu katha nirodho muktirashraya. Ashraya. These are the 10 subjects of Srimad Bhagavatam. What are they? Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following. The creation of the universe, sub-creation, planetary systems. First 3 topics are already full of cosmic. Protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of manus. This is time. And what happens in the cycles, big cycles of time. The signs of God, returning home back to Godhead, liberation, and the Sammam Bonam. So you see how everything, and it is said that, what is that? Pado yadiyo, prathamadvitiyo, tritiya turiyo, purushau yaduru, nabhistatha panchama eva sashtho, bhujantaro doryugalau tathanyo, kantastu navam navamo yadiyo, mukharavindam dashama prapullam ekadasho yasya lalata pattam. What is that? Shiro pitudvadasha eva bhati tamadidevam karunanidhanam tamalavarnam purushavataram apara samsara samudra setum bhajamahe bhagavata swarupam. So this is the description of Bhagavad Puran. What is that? The 2 cantos, first 2 cantos are the feet of the Lord. And then the 3rd and 4th are the thighs of the Lord. Then the 5th is the navel, 6th, 7th, the shoulders and the chest. And then 8th, somewhere. 6th is the chest, then the shoulders, then 9th is the kantha. And then the 10th is the smiling face of the Lord. The 11th is the forehead of the Lord, and the 12th is the head, top of the head of the Lord. So when we look at the deity, we should look at the meditation on the deity should be from the feet up, all the way to the smiling face of the Lord. So taking shelter of the lotus feet, we say, so lotus feet is important, right? So 1st and 2nd canto full of this, even 5th canto of planetary systems and all this. So these are not disconnected topics from the Lord. We're getting distracted. Oh, some devotees even say like that. Oh, you're getting distracted into, cosmos and all. These are not the primary subjects. Don't worry too much about it. Bhakti. These also are important. We should. What is that? 4.9. Janma karma chame divyam evam yovetti tattvataha. Everything we should know. As much as possible. It's not that everyone we should know everything. As much as possible, we should know. So, but if we look at even the biggest manifestation in this world, which is the entire cosmos, the universe, if we see it in relation with the Lord, we will not fall down. Whereas, even if we look at a deer, like Bharat Maharaj did, without relation with the Lord, we will fall down. So, we have to be very careful in how we conduct ourselves, in what we do, in what we, say, think. If it is in relation with the Lord, that is spiritual. If it is not, even the smallest thing can make us fall down. Even the biggest material thing, we will not fall down if we are um, saying in relation with the Lord. Like, of course, we cannot imitate Haridas Thakur. Maya herself came, biggest distraction. But he could have gone away. But he stayed there to liberate her. And after 3 days, she started chanting. So, that means um, associating with Maya in relation with the Lord is not condemned. Similarly, a devotee may seemingly engage in material things and use material things. But as long as he is, this is Yukta Vairagya, right? As long as he is serving Krishna, engaged in devotional service, then he is safe. Otherwise, the risk is very big. Even the smallest thing can make biggest fall down. So that is a lesson. So all right, I'll stop it here. Any questions or comments on this topic?
So the other way around, like supposing we accept the reality, it's on ground reality, something must be done with friend, and but it is not with relation to God. That is it.
So that's a good point. So they are trying to study all these things without relation with the Lord, and that's why they don't get anything. Their achievement was dust. Dust is what they achieved. So how valuable is such dust? So this is what happens. Our big investment of intelligence, money, time, effort, everything, prayers, everything. They went to Tirupati and prayed before launch of Chandrayaan. The team went to Tirupati, praying for the Lord to please. So everything, all that. What is the praying for? What dust? Dust. They pray. So so-called exploration, so-called intelligence will yield us dust. Whereas even the dust of the gopis, Brahma is saying, I want the dust. I am trying to understand the dust of the gopis. He said that. What is that?
10, 14, 30.
Dust. What is that? 35. 34. He wants to be the dust, right? There's another one which he wants to understand. He wants to understand the dust. That dust is more, you know, Vrindavan dust is more potent than moon dust. I want to understand. Where is that? Understand dust. Antya. No, in the Bhagavatam, he said. Hmm. I know, I just yesterday only I was reading that verse. Brahma is trying to understand the dust of Vrindavan. Whereas these people are trying to understand the dust of the moon. And they're not understanding anything. Alright, so any other questions or comment? What is that? Oh, Lord Shiva. Madhya 8. Yeah, this is the one, 8 or 246. Translation and purport. Yes, this is where I was reading. You know, the fame of the devotees,
Oh, yes.
that purport is very good. So many shlokas, in that in that purport, and I like one of them actually. Hmm. This is Brihad Vamana Puran. Lord Brahma tells Bhrigu. Hmm. षष्टिवर्ष सहस्राणि मया तप्तं तपः पुरा नंदगोप व्रज स्त्रीणां पादरेणूपलब्धये तथापि न मया प्राप्तास्तासां वै पादरेणवः नैवं शिवश्च शेषश्च श्रीश्च ताभिः समाः क्वचित्. Actually, this should have been quoted in the Radharani appearance day. I underwent meditation and austerities, Brahma is saying, for 60,000 years just to understand the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis. Still, I could not understand it. To say nothing of me, even Lord Shiva, Lord Shesha, and the goddess of fortune Lakshmi could not understand it. Lakshmi could not understand the dust of the lotus feet of gopis. So, Brahma, who already has created moon and everything, he is not interested in you. Vrindavan dust, he's, in this earthly planet, so called. He's interested in that. Alright, so we'll stop it here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premananda.